You can feel it the second the announcement drops. Phones light up. Tweets fly. The sports talk cycle goes nuclear. The dog pound, loyal and feral as ever, explodes with disbelief. And suddenly, the Cleveland Browns aren't just making headlines, they're etching themselves into history. The wrong kind. Because somehow, someway, Jimmy Haslam and the Browns front office pulled the trigger on the one move every analyst, every fan, and even common sense itself screamed at them not to make. They benched Shedeur Sanders. Yes, that's Shedeur. The rookie quarterback with a spotlight built into his DNA. The one who turned down the Baltimore Ravens, to come to Cleveland, of all places. The kid who walked into Berea with swagger, fire, and just enough audacity to make fans believe that maybe, just maybe, this time the story would finally be different, and now? Instead of writing that next chapter, Shedeur is parked on the sideline. Headset on. Tablet in hand. Watching mediocrity trot onto the field in his place. Cue the chaos. Cue the outrage. Cue another chapter in the never-ending saga of the Browns being the Browns, but let's rewind. Because this wasn't just a decision that popped out of nowhere. This storm has been building since draft night. From the second Shedeur's name was called, the buzz was electric. He wasn't just a draft pick. He was a gamble. A storyline. A spark that this beaten-down franchise desperately needed. And fans didn't hesitate for a second to buy in. Jerseys flew off shelves. Highlight clips went viral. Training camp crowds swelled beyond expectation. The kid hadn't even thrown a regular season pass, and yet, the hype felt real, tangible, unstoppable. Shedeur was more than a quarterback. He was hope in shoulder pads. He was the future stamped on the franchise's forehead. That's what we thought, anyway. But this is Cleveland. And the Browns, true to form, did what the Browns always do best, second-guess themselves. Instead of leaning into the moment, instead of letting the kid with charisma and cannon fire bring life to a city starving for it, they pulled the plug. They benched him. Just like that. And the ripple effect? It's seismic. A fractured locker room. A divided fan base. A media circus that smells blood in the water. Because when you sideline the one player capable of changing the narrative, the story writes itself. Cleveland can't get out of its own way. So here we are. Shedeur Sanders, the rookie with the golden ticket, holding a clipboard while the Browns fumble another chance at rewriting their history. And if you want the real story, the drama, the politics, the behind-the-scenes chaos that doesn't make SportsCenter, you're in the right place. Because this QB saga? It's just getting started. Reports start trickling out at first, whispers dressed up as insider notes. Coaches toss around phrases you've heard 1,000 times: development timeline, earning the opportunity. Competition in the room. You know the drill. Those aren't football terms. Those are code words. Code words for hesitation. Code words for fear. Code words for a front office too scared to make the one decision staring them in the face. And then boom, the hammer drops. The official word hits the wire. Shedeur Sanders won't start. Not only that, he might not even touch the field, and somewhere high above the chaos, in a plush suite with catered snacks and bottled smugness, Jimmy Haslam leans back and congratulates himself for protecting the franchise. Protecting it from what exactly? From momentum? From hope? From the possibility that for once in 40 years, the Browns could be something other than the league's running punchline? Let's be real, this isn't about football. This is about fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of losing control. Fear of letting the future step on the present's toes. So Haslam and his circle double down on the illusion of safety. They go with the experienced guy. The one who knows the system, knows the league, and knows how to lose in a way that feels familiar. The check-down artist. The quarterback who treats a 3-yard out like a fireworks show. Because in Cleveland, the unknown isn't exciting, it's terrifying. They'd rather embrace mediocrity they recognize than potential they don't understand, and the fans? They're not just mad, they're done. This isn't passive frustration. This is open revolt. Banners unfurl outside the stadium. Hashtags trend like war slogans. Start Shedeur gets painted on overpasses like guerrilla graffiti. Browns Twitter? It's not a conversation anymore, it's an uprising. The dog pound has turned into an unfiltered protest, a digital bonfire that won't stop burning. Meanwhile, Haslam isn't cast as the misunderstood owner trying to do the right thing. He's the villain now. The corporate overlord. The burn the village to save it archetype. Because fans see what's really happening. This isn't about merit. This isn't about who earned it. This is about optics, power, and a front office so allergic to momentum they'd rather stall than risk steering into the skid, and that's where karma comes in, instant karma. This is what you get when you ignore the talent sitting right in front of you. When you try to outthink the obvious. When you take a quarterback who electrified a fanbase overnight and shelve him for a steady hand whose QB rating looks more like a local weather forecast than a professional stat line. And for what? Stability? Experience? No. What you're really protecting is mediocrity. You're preserving the same tired culture of almost and maybe next year that's kept this franchise stuck in neutral since before most of these fans were even born. But here's the twist: the fans aren't swallowing it anymore. This isn't 2006. This isn't Colt McCoy and cross your fingers optimism. Cleveland got a taste of something real, tangible: electricity, belief, a future with bite. And then they watched the suits smother it with a clipboard. That's not just a bad football move. That's emotional sabotage, and don't think the locker room hasn't noticed. Whispers are growing louder by the day. The divide is spreading. Veterans side-eye rookies. Rookies side-eye coaches. Press conferences feel like minefields where every question is a tripwire. Players are liking cryptic tweets, tossing shade in interviews, carefully but clearly signaling that they know. Everybody knows. Shedeur Sanders brings confidence. He brings juice. He brings belief. And instead of embracing it, the brass treated him like he was radioactive. You ever seen a team collapse from the inside out? You're watching it right now. The walls are cracking before the season even begins. And the media? Oh, they're feasting. National talk shows can't get enough. Every panel segment is another roast of Jimmy Haslam, served sizzling hot. Former players, guys who bled on that field, are going on live TV and torching the front office for the world to see. Cleveland wanted a spark. Instead, they got a bonfire, and it's aimed straight at the people in charge. Commentators aren't holding back anymore. Words like tone-deaf, clueless, and the always lethal typical Browns move are being thrown around like confetti. And then come the conspiracy theories, spreading faster than a TikTok dance challenge. Some swear this is personal, that Jimmy Haslam doesn't want Shedeur Sanders to succeed because success would validate a path he didn't control. Others say it's just a PR stunt, a long con to drag out the Sanders storyline and milk the attention for as many news cycles as possible. This isn't just about benching a quarterback. It's about the message. To the players. To the fans. To the entire league. The Browns are basically saying, we'd rather be predictable and mediocre than bold and potentially great. It's the football equivalent of choosing plain oatmeal when there's an entire breakfast buffet waiting. Bland. Safe. Empty. Meanwhile, Shedeur sits on the sidelines, helmet off, tablet in hand, watching drives sputter out. He knows he could change games. He knows he could change the entire narrative of this franchise if someone in a suit upstairs believed in him for more than 5 minutes. Instead, it's a masterclass in wasted potential. A franchise already built on quicksand just doubled down on staying stuck, and you can feel the fallout creeping in. Ticket sales? Sliding. Locker room morale? Shot. Fan trust? Gone. But here's the part he doesn't get. Once you lose the fans, once that last thread of belief snaps, you lose everything. The Browns aren't just risking a season here. They're risking their soul. Their identity. Whatever scraps of credibility they still had. And for what? To stay the course? To avoid controversy? To keep their little illusion of control intact? Congratulations. You've officially controlled yourself into irrelevance, and here comes the gut punch. The fix is right there. It's not complicated. Play the kid. Put Shedeur Sanders under center and let him cook. Give him the reps, the responsibility, the stage. Hand him the keys and see what happens. Because right now, you've got nothing to lose but more games and everything to gain. Worst case scenario? He struggles. So what? At least you tried. At least you gave the fans something to rally around. Best case scenario? He lights it up. He brings swagger, grit, fire, the exact things this franchise has been starving for since forever. And suddenly, Cleveland isn't the butt of the joke anymore. Suddenly, the Browns are on SportsCenter for the right reasons, but every week he sits, every snap wasted on safe quarterbacks and stale play calls, the window closes a little more. The hype dies. The momentum withers. The fans drift. And before you know it, you're not just losing games, you're losing the one thing money can't buy back, belief. That's one more nail in the coffin. One more step closer to the collapse everybody swore couldn't happen this fast. So let this be the moment where karma finally cashes its check against the Cleveland front office, where the universe decides it's done giving this franchise do-overs. Because if they don't wake up, the fans will walk, the locker room will fracture, and the Browns, already teetering on the edge, will tumble headfirst into full-blown irrelevance. And here's the cruel truth: it's not too late. Not yet. There's still a window, but it's closing by the quarter. Comment below. Hit subscribe. Because this isn't just a quarterback controversy anymore. This is a franchise in free fall. We're talking organizational meltdown in real time. A front office scrambling. A coaching staff dodging accountability like it's a linebacker blitz. And a fan base so furious, they're one more loss away from storming the facility like it's the season finale of Succession. You can smell the panic in every vague press conference. You can hear it in every hollow "we believe in our process." You can see it in every forced smile from a head coach who knows deep down, one wrong soundbite and he's next. Because let's be real, this isn't just about benching Shedeur Sanders. They benched their future. They benched the one thing that made this season worth watching. And in the process, they poured gasoline on a fire they thought they were controlling. Now, the blaze is spreading to the foundation of the entire franchise. Shedeur wasn't supposed to be a sideshow. He wasn't supposed to be some marketing gimmick. He was supposed to be the guy. The main event. The one draft pick that actually meant something. And Haslam, he took that moment and twisted it into a PR disaster. It's like watching someone light the candles on a birthday cake, then try to blow them out with a flamethrower. Because the second that benching announcement hit, the city flipped. What was once cautious optimism, hope mixed with Cleveland's trademark skepticism, turned into white-hot rage. Chants echoing in the stands. Shedeur jerseys flipped inside out. Banners screaming "Let primetime play" waving like protest signs in the wind. Even fans from other teams are tuning in, popcorn in hand, because this isn't just bad football anymore, it's a soap opera with shoulder pads. And Shedeur? He's handling it like a pro. No angry tweets. No cryptic Instagram posts. No passive-aggressive pressers. Just calm. Clipboard in hand. Gum in his mouth. Sitting there like an actor who already knows how the movie ends, waiting patiently for his cue. Because here's the thing nobody in that front office seems to understand: you don't silence a player like Shedeur Sanders. You can delay him, sure. You can bench him. You can try to spin it as development. But you can't bury him. He's not some project you stash in the shadows. He's a showman. A gamer. A guy who's been under the spotlight since before he could drive, and every single game he doesn't play, every snap wasted on safe quarterbacks and stale play calls, the Browns aren't just losing ground, they're losing credibility. They're losing fans. They're losing faith. And worst of all? They're losing Shedeur. Because one day soon, that kid's going to look around, see the circus they've built around him, and realize he doesn't need the Browns nearly as much as the Browns need him. And when that day comes? Total collapse, the legend grows. The myth builds. And the questions get louder with every passing week. What are they so scared of? Is Shedeur too confident for them? Are they trying to humble him? Or are they just that clueless? The answer? Yes. All of the above, because let's be clear, this isn't about talent. Anybody with a functioning pair of eyes can see Shedeur Sanders has it. Pocket presence? Check. Field vision? Sharp. Swagger? Off the charts. Leadership? Natural. He's the full package. No, this is about something else entirely. This is about control. The Browns have always been terrified of players with a voice. Players with a brand. Players who don't just fall in line. They want yes sir guys. The quiet, obedient system players who nod politely through losses, who soak up mediocrity without ever asking the hard questions, because you can't build a winning culture with your best asset stuck on the sideline in sweatpants, holding a tablet like some glorified intern. You can't ignite a fan base with safe choices and scared leadership. And you definitely can't save a broken franchise by silencing the one voice that actually had people believing again. Now let's talk legacy. The Browns have one, alright, but it's not the kind you hang banners for. It's the legacy of wasted potential. The poster child for high draft picks turned into low-light reels, for maybe next year becoming an annual Cleveland holiday. And right now, the Browns are squandering the one belief strong enough to cut through decades of heartbreak. Think about it. Every week Shedeur sits, the story grows. Every week he doesn't take a snap, the legend gets bigger, the frustration gets sharper. You're not protecting him, you're building a powder keg, because if he wins, if he looks like the guy, then everything they've said, everything they've sold, every excuse they've peddled for why he had to wait will instantly implode. And if he struggles? Guess what? The fans will forgive it, because at least he got the end shot. At least he was allowed to fight. But this limbo? This purgatory? That's where faith dies. That's where hope rots. That's where franchises lose more than games, they lose their soul. So yeah, keep him benched if you want. Keep playing it safe. But remember, in Cleveland, safe has always just been another word for losing. Sooner or later the dam is going to break, and you can already feel it in Cleveland. The fans aren't just frustrated, they're mobilizing, from sports radio callers sounding like revolutionaries to dog-pound loyalists muttering about boycotts and season ticket holders openly asking for refunds, while even the most casual Sunday drinkers are saying why bother. And that's the death knell for any franchise, not rage but apathy, because once people stop caring the lights go out, and the players feel it too, watching drive after drive stall until veterans shake their heads and rookies quietly wonder if they signed with the wrong team. And that's how fractures spread, how locker rooms rot, how morale collapses, leaving all the anger, all the blame, all the heat pointed squarely at Jimmy Haslam and the executives hiding behind the illusion of control. Because Cleveland isn't just asking for Shedeur Sanders anymore, they're demanding accountability. And if they don't get it soon, this won't just be another wasted season, it'll be a full-blown mutiny. He's going to take over, not just a game but the entire narrative of a franchise desperate for redemption. Because players like Shedeur don't come around often, they're rare, electric, impossible to contain, and every second he spends in sweats instead of pads is another second wasted, another chance squandered, another reminder that Cleveland keeps tripping over its own fear. And when the day finally comes, when the kid steps on that field and delivers even a flash of what everyone knows he can do, the city will erupt, the league will notice, and history will be rewritten. But the Browns front office will still have to live with the fact that they almost buried their savior before he ever got the chance to shine.